Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another learning video. Do you know that couple of weeks back USFDA has issued Form 483 to Sun Pharma Mohali facility? I guess those who are working in USFDA approved plants, they might be aware of this. So well friends, Mohali facility of the Sun Pharma was inspected by USFDA in the month of August from 3rd of August to 12th of August 2022. It was almost 10 days audit if you exclude Saturdays and Sundays. So there were 3 auditors who conducted the audit and their names were Justin A. Boyd, Teresa I. Navas and US Jonah. So guys, these 3 auditors has given total 6 number of observations. Before we get into the details of all observations, let me tell you one thing that out of these 3 auditors, Justin A. Boyd is one of the toughest USFDA auditor. And I remember wherever he goes, he will mainly focus on data integrity, OS investigations and chromatography. So without wasting further more time, let's get started with today's video. Observation number 1. There was a failure to thoroughly review any unexplained discrepancy, whether or not the batch has been already distributed. Under this observation, auditors has given 3 number of examples. Out of these 3 examples, first 2 examples are related to similar discrepancy, that is related to backdating. Let us understand initial 2 examples first. So during the audit, auditors found that one of the former employee of Sun Pharma has sent a disclosure which was received in the June 2020, according to which QA and QC personnels were involved in backdating of the GMP documents. So as per the disclosure, QA reviewers were asked not to document observations in order to avoid lab events or the deviations so that products can be released timely. Well friends, auditors found that firm has investigated the backdating cases, but investigation was not done thoroughly. According to the auditors, during the investigation, all the QA reviewers were not interviewed who were alleged to involve in backdating of the GMP records. Along with this, investigation did not include a thorough review of the work which was done by these employees. So these were the initial 2 examples related to the backdating which are mentioned under observation number 1. Now comes the third example which is mentioned under observation number 1. This is related to discrepancy in the OS investigation, where auditors has reviewed the OS investigation report and they concluded that root cause was not investigated properly. Actually, for this OS number, root cause was concluded as a cross-contamination. But what is the source of cross-contamination? That one is not investigated. Observation number 2. Established sampling plans, test procedures and laboratory control mechanisms are not documented at the time of performance. Well friends, under this observation, auditors has verified the building access records and they found that employee who was responsible for collecting samples has not entered the building or the area where samples were documented to have been collected. As per building access record, sampling employee was in a different building at the time of sampling was documented to have been collected. Here you can see the examples given under this observation. Total 6 examples are quoted by the auditors under this observation. Along with these observations, auditors also observed that entries in the GMP records were not made contemporaneously. Actually, what happened on 3rd of August, auditors observed that in microbiology, lab logbook entries were not updated. There were no entries of the incubation and time. Along with this, auditors also observed incomplete entries in the logbooks. Observation number 3. Written procedures were not drafted, reviewed and approved appropriately by the quality control unit. Under this observation, auditors has given 4 examples. Let us understand what are those examples. So guys, auditors has gone through the APQR document and they revealed that based on the calculated process capability for dissolution attribute, the manufacturing process is not capable of consistently manufacturing products that meets the dissolution specification. In another example, auditors found discrepancies in the kappa which was proposed for the dissolution OOS, where effectiveness checks were not proposed. Well friends, auditors has also reviewed the APQRs from year 2020 to 2021 and they revealed that in-process quality attributes were not evaluated during the yearly evaluation of process performance capability. Now comes the 4th discrepancy mentioned under the observation number 3 and it is related to usage of the compression force during the tablet compression activity. Observation number 4. Laboratory records are deficient. They do not include a complete record of all obtained data during the testing. Under this observation, auditors found that during the processing of chromatographic data, if existing processing method is not suitable to process all the samples within the sample set, then chromatographers using different processing method. But there is no original chromatogram available or saved. Observation number 5. Laboratory controls do not include the establishment of scientifically sound and appropriately designed test procedures to assure that the drug products conform to the appropriate standards of identity, strength, quality, and purity. Under this observation, auditors has mentioned three discrepancies related to integration practices, media plate usage, and identification of sources of the microorganism origin. So friends, auditors observed that there was no proper written procedure available with respect to usage of timed events during the integration of chromatographic data. Actually, what happened during the audit, auditors observed usage of the manual integration events for the processing of chromatographic data. In another observation, which is related to media plates usage, where auditors found that in microbiology lab, in-house prepared media plates were used for the testing of the samples. So during the audit, auditors observed media plates were showing desiccation prior to completion of the incubation time. Here, desiccation means extreme dryness. So problem here is that if media dries out during the incubation, then we cannot observe microbes growth. In ideal situation, media should not desiccate or dry out during the testing. Now comes the third discrepancy, which is mentioned under the observation number 5. So during the environmental monitoring, Enterococcus faecium organism was identified in the compression area and in the dispensing area. So Enterococcus is a microorganism which is associated with the fecal contamination. Now auditors has raised a question that how compression area and dispensing area got contaminated with this organism. The source of the contamination was not identified. Observation number 6. Written procedures were not followed for the testing of the components. Well friends, under this observation, auditors has reviewed the reduced testing procedure SOP and they found that as per SOP, during the approval of reduced testing, confirmed OS results should also be considered. But this was not followed. Auditors has given the example of this reduced testing report where previous rejected batches due to particle size failures were not considered or evaluated while proposing reduced testing. So guys, these were the 6 observations which were issued by USFDA to Sun Pharma Mohali plant. There are so many examples quoted by the auditors in Form 483 against each observation. I have covered few of them. If you want more details about these observations, then you can find the link given in the description or you can visit the USFDA website to download the Form 483. So this is it for today. Hope you have learned something new today. Bye bye and happy learning.